Fever, away!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Critscast. We are continuing Season 25 of UGC Highlander. Of course, this is another game from the Platinum Division. We're keeping going. There's no time for respite in this game mode. And we have another team joining again for another crack at a Platinum title. That is, of course, Feila eSports, champions back in Season 23, although they failed one of the final hurdles last time around. They're back trying to reclaim the title for themselves. They're coming up against a team probably no one has even heard about, tagged up as Wheelchair, but you probably know them slightly better as Open Squad. Pretty much the Open Squad crew from the most recent season of TF2 HUD, with some changes here and there, maybe gearing up for the new TF2 HUD season. We'll have to wait and see. But this promises to be a high-octane, intense game. And I'm CeeJaey, and covering the game with me today will be Buck, as my co-caster, and Foppish on the camera. Buck, you hyped for some Highlander, man?
Of course, always. I'm going to be hyped for this. Two very close teams. I mean, I'd say these are probably the two favourites going into this season for Platinum. I mean, some very experienced players, like as you say. Feila coming back at it again with their pretty typical roster, seeing the usual players there. And Wheelchair with, again, some experienced players from a group of teams. But yeah, as you say, mostly Open Squad. So yeah, I'm going to look forward to seeing how they perform on products.
I mean, it's no disrespect to UGC, but often we find it, in seasons like this where it's an intermediary between the TF2 seasons, and teams give it a bit of a chance to test themselves and try out different players and get themselves ready for what is essentially in Europe the main stage TF2, and both of these teams did play in Prem last season. Feila, of course, runners up the past two seasons in TF2. They lost up against Elephant last season and Strong Opinions the season before, whereas Open Squad, I think coming into Season 15, were regarded as one of the top teams in Europe. I mean, a lot of people were talking about them as, the closest challengers to Elephant, who were, pretty much the odds-on favourite from the start, as Open Squad had essentially, I think it was about 6 of the players who played for Feila in the Season 14 final. So, they took a good chunk of those players and had a couple of additions of their own, but they fell short, and it was their former team who ended up beating them to that playoff spot. So maybe this is a chance for both of those teams to kind of regroup. I remember talking to Joe at the end of last season and him saying, yeah, probably throw together another team, see how it goes. And an Open Squad who, like we said, tagged up as a Wheelchair for this UGC season, maybe taking a look at some of the different players. So we do see some different faces in this game. We're going to be playing on Product, which, hey, it's King of the Hill. There's literally no downtime. It's just constant action.
Yeah, and going into this, I do have respect for people like Joe that will just constantly try and get out teams and be willing to sort of get the players they want to get together. Get some trust going, get some teamwork going. Even if it is just in prep for TF2. But any Highlander action is good action, I'd say. So it's always good to see.
Absolutely. I'm just going to quickly look over the rosters here. Take a look at Feila eSports to begin with. We got Thomas on Scout. Middle is going to be Soldier. V-Clock's on Pyro. Of course, Joen is going to be, or JN as he's tagged up as, is going to be the demo. Raipe is going to be on Heavy. Mason on NG. Layla on Medic, of course. Proki on Sniper. And Mello, or formerly known as Agi, is going to be on Spy. I mean, who stands out for you on that team?
I mean, for me, definitely, obviously, the typical sort of Joe-Layla combo is obviously going to be doing a lot of work. I imagine on crits as well on this map, Joe, but also, sort of Porky. I know Porky does quite well, or Proki does quite well on this map, if he gets free reign of China. It's always good to see what he can do there.
Absolutely. I also think Mello did a great job in the TF2 Grand Final. We are live now. I'm going to quickly go over the Wheelchair roster. We've got Snuggles, aka Justice on Scout, Nubby on Soldier, Strono on Pyro, Murphy Demo, Aleski Heavy, Rambasaur on Engineer, Austin is going to be on Medic, Piney on Sniper, and Mezzo on Spy. And Proki called out early on by Buck as a man who can make a difference here. Gets the first kill, taking down the Pyro Strono. And lots of damage coming down here. Middle and Mello combining to take down the combo. very, very strong showing here from Feila as they win that mid-fight comfortably there, Buck.
Yeah, a lot of people go down very quickly there. They just sort of walk forwards after that pyro pick and get all the space they want. Mezzo is sort of roaming around behind. Hasn't been spotted yet by the scout, but I'll see what he can do.
Yeah, I mean, they just didn't really have much space to maneuver there. They just got in. Oh, Mezzo's deciding just to go straight for the revolver there, trying to get some pressure on the sniper. Of course, Proki there is running the Razorback, so can't be backstabbed, but he cannot be overhealed either. But Mello is not having problems there as he managed to get the backstab onto Let's get the crits! You called it! We didn't even check. I didn't check at least. Crits comes out and takes down a few key players there. Austin does survive, but he's down at 65%. That's not really as much as you'd think he could have had at that point. I'm not sure if he died on that mid-fight. Maybe I totally missed that as well. But yeah, big first exchange there coming out from Feila. But it does look like Murphy and co are starting to push Cliff.
So what I always like to see here from Joe on this map is the fact that how ballsy he is just going onto Cliff alone. Like, he doesn't even care. Like, when they've got players down, he'll just go in and just spam out the sniper and stuff like that. But as I say that, like, a lot of pressure and the Uber comes out over the point right here. Onto singles the scout, or just is on the scout, trying to do as much damage as possibly can, short so going over the point, but they managed to get the point eventually.
I mean, they've managed to go forward here and using their Uber, taking down an NG and got the point. Not great. Crits comes in, takes down Piney, takes down Murphy, takes down Nubby! Oh my days, that was a frag and a half. That final crit stick, he doesn't get anyone, but Proki is going to help out his demo there with a headshot onto Aleski. So that is another kill. And Joe really putting the damage out right now. And that's what I'm saying, like, they captured the point there for all of 17 seconds. You know, they used the Uber to take the ground, captured the point, and you know they didn't get any pressure onto Layla whatsoever. And you know that Crits is going to come in. You either need to be totally out of there or be in their face, and they were not in Layla's face.
The trap on the cliff though does get the medic as he tries to drop off the cliff. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, massive plays from Joe right now. But as he does go down eventually, but yeah, taking the team on his shoulders doing as much as he can. They're not looking like they wanted to push this point anytime soon.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a huge play. I mean, take down the medic there with a trap. Need to check those corners, and Proki's on a 6 kill streak right now. Seems to have Aleski in his scopes. Mello comes in, takes down Piney, so a lot of pressure on the enemy sniper. In comes Murphy. The crits is in play, but Feila have lost a few players here, so you have to be careful that they don't get just swamped here. The crits comes in, first one doesn't land on anyone. You see the engineer Rambus are using, is it the secondary fire of the short circuit there? He's trying to delete those projectiles.
Yeah, trying to walk across the point now though. Rambo's doing a good job just trying to line Joe there on that point as Alex trying to come in onto the point as Middle tries to go for a bit of a bomb, but to no avail really in a lockdown right now for Feila. So good job to try and retake this point. They've got like a lot of time to catch up on here. They're like 2 minutes worth. Yeah,
the middle bombs on this map can be quite effective, having played against them quite a few times in it. But in a really good position here for Feila right now. They're going in deep. Middle goes in for the medic again, lands 2 nice rockets. That second one just missing actually, but it forces Austin all the way out. And we do see kind of, I'm not sure what the intention was there, just maybe going for the medic play, I guess. There is 100% Uber for Austin at the moment. He's sitting in pocket on top of the dispenser. Layla only at 50%. She's really far back here. She's running the medic gun herself, so she switched off that crits for this final fight. But they just need to win this exchange, essentially. Big bomb from middle again! Comes from behind. Doesn't manage to get the force though.
Yeah, trying to walk across the point now though, even if they're on like Uber disadvantage. Uber just come out. Need to be careful that he doesn't get caught out here as she's only got the scouts to play with right now. But Uber not really doing as much as it possibly could do. It just didn't know the point for now though, so maybe that's all they wanted.
Yeah, but they're going to need to make a play onto Layla here, because as soon as Joe and V-Clocks are up, they're going to be walking in with that Uber advantage. I mean, let's give some respect where it's due. They've chalked off 1 minute 40 on this single hold here. It does seem like Feila have been struggling to get any sort of opening without a charge, but the Uber's used really early by Layla. Middle is already in behind, and lots of damage coming down, but not many frags actually. They've lost Proki, they've lost Middle, they captured a point. But they're at a little bit disadvantaged now, and they could be in danger of getting swamped here. Joe with some nice bites, takes down Nubby, but V-Clocks is going to get taken down, but Thomas comes in, takes down the medic, no heals for Wheelchair. They are going to capture the point here, but they've lost their heals.
Yeah, Joe getting caught, kind of trapped out in this connector area as well, and a lot down for Feila right now as Rope is the only one alive. And Layla's going to get killed off as well by Justice, getting the heavy as well. So, a bit of a clean-up crew there by the Scout. But managed to get this point for now. They have switched off to Feila, so we'll see if that's any more effective.
Yeah, I mean, Ubers aren't going to really play a part in this anymore as we're getting down into the last kind of 30 seconds for both teams. And, you know, Austin does have about a 20% add. He may be able to get a charge here if he's really healing this. But Joe goes down to Mezzo. That's a huge pick. Middle's in from behind. He's trying to get a bit of a distraction. Gets a reflect kill by Strono. Lots of damage on the point. Layla takes some damage. She gets taken down. Tiny. And wow, the cleanup comes in. Murphy with the stick. He's on a 4k right now. Snuggles on a 5k. 2 players left alive. There's so much time on the point though, Buck, so this isn't over yet. Joe and his team can still come in and make something happen.
Yeah, it's always it's quite surprising to see how much work Murphy and Justice are actually doing here at this point. You know, Scout and Demo obviously quite prevalent in Koth. The Viva's going to be popped out onto Oleski here. Picks off the medic as they try and come in, but yeah. First round, surprisingly going to Wheelchair after that quite dominant first half of that round for Feila.
Definitely, and it seemed like Feila could have won that without letting their opponent's cap. Like, it was so close. They had 28 seconds left on the clock, or 23, however much it was. And Wheelchair doing really good. Took a couple of really strong holds there. Big bomb in from middle. Once again, just goes all the way behind them. Piney opens up with a nice headshot onto Joe. Takes down Thomas as well. And the sniper's really popping it off here. And it does look like Wheelchair are going to win this mid fight.
Yeah, both mids still alive right now, but first initial mid will go to the side of the Wheelchair as Oleski's just comfortably sitting this point. Interesting first 2 picks there for Blady to start that off. Have to see if he has found his edge right now against Propi, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it takes you a bit of time to warm up and be like, okay, the sniper's playing like this. I mean, at this level, most of these snipers know how each other play. So, you know, the crits does come in though, actually. Strano is going to be a casualty, not able to reflect it. Layla is covered in pee. A nice reflect there from V-Clogs. Reflects the milk back over the point. And there are some frags coming down here for Feila. Lots of aggression from Snuggles. He's actually going to pick off Joe. So, you know, this is looking better for Feila, but so many players are weak on both teams. Just take a look at that health. Very low. And it still could go either way, but no, wow, Murphy with the pipes. Takes down 2 players with the pipes, and that could trigger the repush.
That was a spicy reflect from Strona there as Mill tried to go in. But Porky's just trying to deny the point right here. Murphy did a good job of staying alive as well for that entire time, surprisingly. As Piney again coming back with a headshot onto Joe. He's still alive, but he's going to get cleaned up. And a lot dead right now for Feila.
It seems that Wheelchair finally got their grip on the game, and every time Feila tried to do one of their iconic dry pushes that Joe loves to do, he loves to do it when there's no Ubers in play, just push his team in and take the fight and win based on the respawns. They're letting them cap, but getting enough kills and enough damage that when Wheelchair wants to do the repush, they're doing it on an advantage. So that's something for Joe and his team to kind of work out here and try to amend the way they're playing, because if it continues like this, Wheelchair are going to remain in control of the point, but they're walking across the point right now. Thomas getting some camp time. Now Sticky said, I'm not sure he's aware of. Roper gets a lot of damage there. He tanks it away for his team, but Feila for free get that point.
Yeah, interesting to see them so passive there. Like, they just gave them a lot of space on the point. Justice was kind of like trying to skirmish with the Scout on the one side next to the heavy, but the rest just walk onto it comfortably as the flank starts to take some damage for Feila right now.
Yeah, there was an exchange here on the point, as it looks like Austin's on the left side and Layla and her, it was on the opposite side, and Mello actually opens up the way to get 2 kills there. So pretty big kills. Murphy and Piney out of the game. It's going to be difficult to push without that potential of a pick or that damage from the demo. But Oleski's trying to put some pressure here. He is behind the point, taking a lot of damage, and finally gets taken out by Proki, who is dominating him now. And kind of very difficult if you lose those players and you get picked off one by one to actually get a push, but there we go. Middle and Joe both going down. A lot of spam potential taken out of the equation here. It's all going to be up to Proki to deny a bit of a push. He takes down Piney. Mezzo is also down. No assassin class left alive, but Layla is going to die. Snuggles comes in with the clean up after lots of damage went down. And just really good dry pushes so far.
They're trying to go for a bomb. Just get some damage. Doesn't seem to be enough, as, yeah, Justice doing a lot of work on the right side there. Sort of walking into 5 people, not really caring at all, as the forward hold is going to try and come in here from Wiltshire.
First forward hold of the day, actually, and there we go. Lesky picks up 2, but this is the problem with a forward hold. You do lose some players. They use their heavy, they use their pyro, and those are 2 really important classes to do for a forward hold. But Nabi goes in for the bomb. He's going to take down Proki. He's going to be happy enough with that. Stays alive just to be a bit of a nuisance. But no picks coming in for Feila from their sniper, who has been a big part of this game so far. There's an Uber advantage for Layla. And I'm just going to check, she is actually now on the medigun, so they're kind of switching between the crits and the medigun, maybe just trying to see what's going on. And Mezzo actually spawn caps Proki, so he's just been out of action for the past 20 seconds or so.
Yeah, it might be quite a smart placement. Strono, I don't think still have a massive sort of detonator jump over the point as Mezzo comes in for the stab onto the NG. Quite a few down on the side of Feila again, as Lesky just kind of jumps in on this point middle, trying to go for a bit of a bomb, but does decide to back out of it.
Yeah, Mezzo again gets Proki. Proki is just being focused so much. He was doing so much work on that first round when Feila were dominating. But right now, it just looks like they're picking off right players, and it's stunting the pushes. And they have to get on the point right now. Joe gets domed. I don't think he was going to get on the point in time here. Azir is used. Strono 8 is just going to damage and air blast anyone who gets close to those logs. And it's a quick 2-0 for Elephant here. And Feila look a little bit shell-shocked. They're just... individuals are getting focused back, and it just means that their pushes aren't going the way that they want them to go.
I think it's the smart plays from Wiltshire, and like I think the kind of hasted aggression out of Feila that like this team, like Wiltshire, is just so used to by now. Like they know what Joe's going to be doing, it's predictable, and they just like crash on going. But as I say that, like a lot going down on the side of Feila for the mid, as they're going to take control of the point, but in the back lines there's a few picks going down on the opposite side. It's quite even fight right now as a massive bomb comes in, just get reflected, but Middle's still doing the damage he needs to. As he's trying to run away for his life.
Yeah, they're just being very effective. I mean, the thing we've seen, or at least I've seen, over the past kind of year, 2 years, of the way that Joe likes to play with his sides, always has different players. Each year it's always a bunch of new players coming in to play on the roster, but they play in the same way. They like to do these drive pushes and win the DM fights. They like to not just wait based on crits or Uber, they want to come in and do stuff when there's nothing else going on. But if you're losing those fights when it's just drive pushing, you're not going to have a good time playing with that strategy. You need to amend something. And they were relying on Proki to get them the picks, but when they're losing him in these fights, it's not really working. You see, slowly but surely, they're trying to kind of edge it in here, knowing that it's equal Ubers, but Wheelchair are just holding strong, and they're just holding back and not letting them get any sort of cap time on the point for free.
Yeah, another thing as well is like because Joe's like peeking very aggressively a lot of the time, he's having to soak up a lot of the heals, so Leila's got quite a bit of a job trying to keep tasking over healthy. But they do because they do have the point, they do have worse spawns right now, and Austin needs to be very careful and just pop the Uber onto Murphy as he tries to deny his point, but it will go down for Feila right now.
Yeah, they captured the point at the loss of a minute of cap time. Proki is going to spawn now, and they do have a bit of an Uber advantage, so they're going to be in a decent position. They can just kind of put the spam down and not let anything come through. But they're bleeding players, Middle and V-Clocks both going down here. So not really much to kind of help defend the point. Joe is just getting focused so hard. You just see that when you lose your Pyro, that spam denial is out of the game. When you lose your Soldier, that connector denial is out of the game. You have to be aware that the pressure is going to come from that opposite side, and Joe cannot do it all by himself. He has to either back out there, or the rest of his team needs to be holding forward and giving the space for Proki, giving the space for Mello to make something, get a pick on a player. And at the moment, they just seem to be at 2 and 8. They don't really seem to be coordinated.
Yeah, but watching Newbie for the last 60 seconds has been doing so much work. It's been, you know, he killed Joe with that spam before, bombs in with absolutely no fear and kills the sniper beforehand. Murphy gonna jump in right now, just sort of semi-force Layla into this Uber as the scouts are trying to receive this. Austin will comfortably pop his Uber in return to try and deny this point as picks seem to be going down through this.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of damage, and this is what they want to be happening. They have to get some pressure onto Austin now. He's trying to get away. He's backing out with Rambasaur, those biceps making sure the medic gets out safely. And he does in fact do that. Nabi takes down Middle, so that Soldier pressure is out of the equation. But Layla does have, 5% add in the general metagame. That's not going to be anything to write home about whatsoever. But it does mean that it's not going to be easy for Wheel to just walk in there. But taking down Ripe the Heavy is going to be a big thing. And you can see, look how passive they're. Big jump from Nubby. Loads of damage onto the rest of the team. Middle is trying to deny it from the top rock right now.
Mezzo.
But, wow.
Yeah, Mezzo just coming in from behind, gets the mid during all that. But I mean, as I say that, like, Wilshere is taking a lot of damage and losing some players here. Murphy kind of alone on the point right here, just with Austin. Surprised Austin's even managed to live through this, but Viethoofd with no fear goes in with the help of Mello and almost a wipe. Oh, well, it just gets one at a time.
Nearly. I mean, I'm surprised they managed to do that. They just kind of realized that everything was going wrong and just went forward. They were just like, you know what? We're losing this fight anyway. Let's just go balls to the wall, and they did it. And they can now get a chance, but you just see Mezzo dominating the Heavy, dominating the Sniper. He's taking down these classes, maybe not the huge classes that you would probably focus that much. Sniper, of course, yes, but the Heavy, it's just meaning there isn't this much forward pressure because everyone else is playing so passive around Layla. Joe is the only person far forward, and he just gets so much damage focused down onto him that he's unable to really do anything.
Oh, Murphy's doing such a good job of spamming out this pocket area as well. Like, all they're doing is just clumping in it, like, repeatedly. Layla takes all the pipes, and Murphy's just having to go back over there to get heals because Layla's over there. It just ends up being, like, an absolute mess of damage in that one area. They're trying to retake this cliff area right now, but, yeah, they need to be, it's very even times right now, and even Ubers, so we'll see how that exchange goes.
Yeah, the time is very close. It's still an edge here for Wheelchair by about 20 seconds. But in comes Big Bomb here, but no, Strano decides against it, and Murphy just gets thrown back there with the air blast. Their Uber is going to be absolutely nullified from that. They took no ground whatsoever. They do have control of the point still, but Feila have the ground now. Leski taken down, but Joe gets domed by Piney. He's dominating him now, and this is where Wheelchair are going to start to try to pressure them themselves. Layla's gone down to the pipes of Murphy, and they could win this fight here, but it's going to be hard. But look at Middle going huge, just turning everybody's heads around, and one of their heads gets blown off as Proki gets the snipe on to Austin.
Yeah, that's pretty smart plays there by Middle, and also like just trying to get that full presence on the point by Feila. But yeah, Murphy and his pipes recently have been so scary. Like, I know playing against him, it's always scary to face the pipes because he just hits every single pipe. Goes to the mid onto Layla. But to no avail again, as Ripe is kind of forwards here, trying to like urge his team to come forward. There's some short circuit exchanging going on as well. But point will still remain for Feila right now.
Yeah, they've managed to hold on and turn the time around. But of course, this last push could be absolutely decisive. Once you've captured that point, the spawn times will change. But wow, 3 picks coming in on the side of Wheelchair here. And it's just going to be chaos on the point. It doesn't look like Wheelchair are going to capture the point. It is overtime for Feila. They just need to re-push. There are so many people are weak for Wheelchair. Austin's at 70 HP. He's got 70% Uber as well. He's got Murphy for company. He needs to help block this point. If Feila capture the point, it's going to be all over. Murphy is alone. Austin cannot do anything to save him there. And Feila are just going to recapture this point. And not quite a double overtime, but finally a round on the board for Feila at the 3rd time of trying. And bit of a comeback coming on here.
Yeah, still a very close round though. Like, maybe it'll be like reverse, so this time it'll be, I don't know, more time for Feila. But yeah, we'll wait and see. Maybe see if Joe's sort of changing his strategies a bit. But Middle again going in with a bit of a bomb, bit of a bait bomb actually. Not fully committing there, but they are managed to get some space on the point right now as sort of pipes being exchanged on this one side. Leski taking a lot of damage, Austin taking a pipe as well. Murphy going down very low. So the bomb again from Middle, doing a lot of damage, and I think they're going to win the mid off that.
Yeah, but there are some kills coming in favour of Wheelchair here, and even though Roke is going to be, they're going to, they've captured the point, but they're going to lose it straight away. Wheelchair have the better players, or the better number of players I should say, and they have the better spawns. So they just kind of walk onto the point with all of their freshly spawned players, and they're just like, okay, you captured the point, but there's only one of you, and you're not going to defend it on your own. And yeah, Layla going down there. Wow, Proki and Joe both going down. The assassin classes for Wheelchair starting to turn it up here. 100% Uber for Austin as long as he does actually get forced there. Only a little bit of damage going down, but he's deciding to try and save his place. Does drop Strano, so he loses a Pyro, but they're getting quite a lot of time off of the back of this Uber.
They're going to be searching for right now. Middle not giving a care at all as he goes really high in the air as he's trying to chase Austin. Doesn't manage to get the final rockets, but got the scout flank coming in as well. Gonna try and clean things up. But yeah, I don't know if these saw before, but Austin took a pipe on the cliff and he was on like 10 health. Managed to grab the sandwich, didn't pop during that entire time, and managed to sort of pop afterwards. So it might have been a bit more time, but yeah, the point is now on the sort of failure. Let's need to be careful here.
Yeah, Austin actually got headshot then by Brookie, so 100% Uber for Layla. Nubby is actually behind and gets denied that by the heavy. Not going to be able to get any damage onto Layla whatsoever. Middle this time with the big ball. Huge rockets, takes down two. Rambasaur and Oleski both going down. There's lots of damage going in both sides here. But Layla drops to the pipe. We were talking about the pipe spot.
Yeah, Murphy does not miss those over the rock pipes, I can tell you. He just hits the bed with ease, gets the double pipe onto Layla and she drops, so Viper gonna try and see what he can do as much as he can, but against the demo that's being healed, not gonna be doing much, and they can try and hold this for now as the Slayers should creates a side one.
It's heartbreaking as a medic when you get hit by one of those, especially in this day and age with the Iron Bomber. But that is a what a ball by Middle! Dominating Austin, it's clean, it's crispy, just flies in through the air, and all it takes is 2 rockets to finish him off. Amazing play there by Middle. I've been on the receiving end of a few of those in my time, and that's really opened the doors for Feila here, but Joe has gone down. Their talisman, their main caller, their demo man isn't going to be here for the fight, but they capture the point regardless, and they're about 20 seconds behind in the times now. They need to win this round, otherwise we're going to go into half time with them 2 rounds behind. Melee with a nice pick onto Murphy is going to stop any sort of push here coming from Wheelchair, although Oleski is still quite forward. Rambasaur as well being killed, so maybe they're going to try and just kind of tease the point a little bit here.
If they manage to keep Layla alive here, they might be able to like get as much time as possible. They are going to slowly counter slow. Oleski and Strona trying to ping this very slowly. I think they will give it them. No, they do manage to even block the point eventually. Oh, and the big pipes from Joe and Sticks to just finish them off all in main. That's 2 up right now for Wheelchair. So Joe with his good old traditional demo Ubers doing everything.
It's a classic bait and switch, like, oh no, you're capping the point, what are we going to do? And now we're going to Uber, destroy you, we've got better spawns, and you're screwed. I mean, it's just classic product play, and that was just done to perfection. They just waited and waited and waited, and pushed and popped at the correct time. And now they are in the lead with the time. They've caught up, they've taken the lead, and now Feila looking in control in this 4th round here. And it's up to the likes of Piney and Murphy whether they get some sort of pick here and create some space for their team.
Yeah, Layla's pretty as well on 85% with a bit of an advantage. Trying to take a lot of damage. I'm surprised he even survived that as Rambo and Oleski trying to make some space. Oh, the big pipes of Murphy though do take out V-Clocks as well on this other side as the Uber gets exchanged onto the Mini. Probably not getting as many frags as it would want to, but Scout's going to run forward onto the cliff, see what we can get from behind. Joe bombs in, does manage to get the medic as well. So yeah, typical Joe play there to try and get as much time as possible.
There's like if you divide this map up into a grid, there's like the midpoint, then there's your side, then there's behind the house, which generally there's like that's the safe point against getting bombed, okay? And then there's still like the Joe zone, where any other demo will not jump you, but the Joe zone, Joe will chase you into the spawn door to try and get that medic pick, and it's what he's done there. He managed to get the pick there. Thomas, though, I think actually did a great job going up on the cliff, picking up some frags, and Middles actually picked up another kill there. I'm not sure what happened. Did you see how he got it?
Yeah, he did the typical cliff bomb over the top again. Same thing, 2 rockets onto Austin, and he goes down. But in return, Piney gets a nice kill onto Joe. So we'll see if they want to push that, but I doubt it since there's a bit of an 80% ad right now for Layla.
Yeah, but there are some long spawns on their demo and heavy. It's going to be difficult for them to deny this point. It's going to be the likes of V-Clocks and Mason to try and defend it, but they decide to back out here, give the point up, regroup. Oh, Layla getting pressured here by Mezzo. She has to use her so low. They just need to recapture this point and they will actually win it. They take down Strono 8, they take down Oleski. That's a lot of bulk, a lot of HP out of the fight. Right, is starting to walk onto the point and V-Clocks hasn't finished it, he's onto Murphy. Snuggles is also there, gets taken down. Austin with a frag onto V-Clocks to end his tyranny. But Feila come back to square it up at 2-2. Let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, this is UGC. We play to 4 in this league. There is a half time. Everyone needs to have a little smoke and drink break. So the next team to win a round will take the advantage into the second half in the Drake. And look how far forward Joe is. Just so much pressure on the enemy team, not allowing Murphy to take any sort of space. But it is the first kill going to Tiny.
Oh, Murphy just before he dies gets a nice Py-bun to late level once again. There's a lot of pressure coming out though as Joe is still alive, trying to spam them across the point. As Newbie going in for a bit of a bomb. Oh, it does go into China though, being a bit more passive, to try and bait out the flank a bit. As the point is still kind of being edged a bit here by Joe as he tries to spam them out. As the rest of Wheelchair are going to try and back out a bit. And yeah, I think that initial mid will go down to Feila.
I think something people forget is that the midpoint on product is essentially the high ground. Like, if you have control of that area, you have the high ground, and it's very easy to put damage down on your opponents. But the Uber comes in from Elephant here. Layla pops slightly later, actually has Thomas in his Uber, so going to be a bit of a chase going on here. Vclox is also on the chase. Thomas goes onto Cliff. Can he catch anybody out? No, there's a mini sentry to deny him, and Eleski cleans him up. It does mean, though, that Feila still control the point. 37 chalked off for this 5th round here. Navi is actually behind on Cliff. I'm not sure if anyone knows. Teleporter does go down, so Shorty's been goes in for a bomb. That's 1 rocket, 2 rockets, takes out Brokey, and actually takes out Mason as well. So pretty good exchange for his death there. Sniper has been eliminated from the equation. Joe is so far forward. Surely he's going to get picked off here. Has to back off to the rest of his team. And, you know, Feila losing a lot of players here, Buck, but still controlling the point.
Yeah, the cohesion from Wheelchair is like slowly a bit less and less. I mean, they'll be trying to go off newbies players, but like if that doesn't happen, sometimes I think they're a bit like stuck in a bit of stalemate, trying to peak the point a bit. So this is one more of what I'm expecting. Leia takes a lot of damage here. Murphy doing a lot of work as well. Does get a lot on that right side compared to what Joe was trying to return back. But yeah, just managed to pick off the lead there. And 100% advantage for Boston right now as this.
Yeah, Layla died at 98% there. I was just going to say, in that situation, what you need to do is just pop and defend the point. Like, you can chalk more time off, and you can probably win that exchange based on, you know, on the DM fight afterwards. But Austin actually had the Uber before Layla. He was there already with 100%. And Layla died at 98 to those sickies from Murphy. Big bomb in from middle, but this time all he can do is get the force onto Austin. He's going to, you know, spread the love. He's going to share out that Uber between different people. Rapic with the Fist of Steel is actually going to survive, and Snuggles get cleaned up because of it. Thomas actually takes down Murphy as well, so that's a couple of big frags here. And that could allow Layla to walk forward with her team. She's got an advantage at 60% already. And Feila trying to edge the point here and get a bit more cap time.
So you're questioning whether that was the smart thing to do from like the 3 players there that were going forwards, because like I'm not sure they needed to like actually use their lives for that since they have worse points. But and there's going to be a massive advantage now for Layla as she tries to come in here and get this point. But they seem to be sort of passive. Murphy's trying to spam them out as best as he can. I mean, it's always quite difficult to get past the demo. But the Uber is going to get exchanged right now. We're going for a big bomb, just gets sort of denied as he goes around the back. But not many frags happening with this Uber as Murphy's still alive.
Sometimes you wonder how a player survived for so long, and you're just like, okay, fine, he's still alive, and he's still like having an influence. He's spreading out that damage on the point, and look at Vclox. Oh my days!
Pyro is a class.
Right. Yeah. Just tidy up. We're going home. I mean, Vclox had that rock on the W key. He was not going to stop until either he or everyone else in the server was dead. Picks up 2 huge kills there. And yeah, I mean, Pyro will be Pyro. Funny thing is, he's done that twice now in the exact same spot in main as they were trying to back out. It's like deja vu right there, but ooh, big snipe from Finey onto Joe right there, so a bit less denial on the point as Murphy's going to feel comfortable to spam pipes. Uber with a big bomb as well. Uber's going to be used by Layla here to try and deny some of the space. Getting some frags here on the side of Thomas as he tries to pick up the demo and the oh no. Against Layla. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, similar to the situation earlier where they should have used the Uber, they used the Uber, but they only have 4 players alive against, you know, a team with 7 and better respawns. So that was always going to be a fishy situation, but if they kept their med alive and got out there, it could have worked well. But Layla got just headshot by Piney, this kind of the split second the Uber faded. So kind of advantage going in here for Wheelchair now, 100% in the bank for Austin, and yeah, it's going to be difficult for Feila to break this.
Murphy's trying to get that as much spam as he can onto Cliff before they come in, which is probably the smart idea. Lesky taking a lot of damage on the point. Not sure that was worth his life, but Dry will be throwing it. Ripe takes in a lot of damage here. Oh, the big plant's coming as well! See, more spam from Murphy. He's the king of spam on this point. He does take a pipe himself, but somehow, unfortunately get out there, but it does manage to get picked up there. Uber's going to get exchanged in the point as well. And yeah, they will hold it for now, but they lost a lot in return.
They've lost a lot of players, and yeah, like we always say, those respawns are not going to be good. But look at Austin, he's dodging and weaving here, trying to stay alive. He's got a lot of players for company, and Thomas is not able to get that medic frag, which could have been pretty huge here. 20 seconds left for Wheelchair to hold on to win, essentially, this first half in the 5th round. But Feila are coming in here, they've got the players, it's basically equal. Lubus but Viney, clutch kill there onto Joe. No Doorman for Feila in this fight. They could get the point here. Declox is getting a lot of time, but they're losing a couple more players here. They lose 3 players, 4 players, 5 players. They've only got 4 alive. They've captured the point, but once again, Layla goes down to Piney, and Wheelchair just going to walk forward, and surely that's all over for this first half, but we're going to capture it and make it 3-2.
Wow, Piney going absolutely ham on that last 9 seconds there, like hitting so many headshots. He's done 5 dominations. Like, I don't know what happened with him, but yeah, he has just turned up recently, and yeah, just absolutely destroying. Good team play coming out there, and that last bit from Wheelchair, trying to change it up a bit compared to what Feila were doing previously. But yeah, it must be kind of catching on to what Joe and Middle were trying to do.
Absolutely. I mean, you know the bombs are going to come in. You know to expect it. It's easy enough to say that, but it's counteracting and making sure you're in a position to survive it afterwards. Yeah. That really kind of separates you from, you know, being a team that understands that, but also being a team that is able to counter that, which are 2 very different things. I mean, everyone can say, "Oh yeah, I understand how to do a bicycle kick in football." You know, I understand it, but there's only a few people who are going to do that, you know, in an actual game. And yeah, it does seem that Wheelchair kind of. There was a couple of moments there where Middle did his, you know, his token bomb across the point and managed to get, you know, a med pick or a force. But it does seem like Joe was getting so much focus now. Taking a look at the logs here, and you were talking about Piney, they got 5 dominations. It went 47 for 28. I mean, the game lasted for half an hour, so 47s is basically 1.5 kills a minute. Which is pretty insane. There was quite a few players who were getting around a kill a minute, but Spy's getting 30 kills, Nubby with 32, Murphy and Joe with 33 and 35 apiece. Proki doing very well as well, 34 kills for him. Thomas with 38. He had some good pushes on Cliff, just kind of chasing players down and getting some cleanup there. But yeah, I mean, definitely Piney in those last couple of rounds started to kind of just really appear, and the fact that he was dominating quite a few players shows that he wasn't getting focused as much as maybe Proki was. We noticed there was a moment there in one of the rounds where Proki tried to walk out of spawn after being picked off and got spawn camped 2 or 3 times. Just, you know, so much focus being put on the sniper, which on a map like this you have to do.
Yeah, I think initially as well, like, they just knew from the get-go, their team was like, you know what, the people we need to focus are going to be Joe. And then they started sort of spamming out Joe enough, and then they kind of just adapted to, like, who else they needed to pick off. So I think Mezzo was, like, you know, as you say, going for Porky quite a lot. So if you can remove all these, like, threats, like the major threats to your team, and like, your med especially, like, I mean, there's quite a lot of times where Austin, I think, managed to get out where Layla might have been like caught out because like Justice was just holding W, managed to get through everyone and just get some cheeky sort of peak shots and some meat shots in as well. And you know, all these things sort of add up, and yeah, it's what eventually will either lose or win you the round.
Absolutely. And I mean, there's 9 players on the server right now with over 100 points. So when half the server has over 100 points, you can tell it's been a long battle. Like, this has been very, very close. It hasn't been. I don't think any of these rounds have been a roll. Like, that first round looked like Feila were going to roll it, and then it ended up being a victory for Wheelchair. So it's really been back and forth. You said that you thought these 2 teams were kind of the 2 strongest in UGC, and I mean, they're living up to the hype.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, you know, just having these games be this close is pretty much just evidence as to, like, how strong, like, you know, these teams can be. Because, like, I think part of the strength in Highlander, especially on a map like Koth or 5CP, is the fact that, like, you know, you want teams that can kind of just adapt, and teams that kind of know exactly what they need to be doing all the time. and they can sort of just say to themselves, if we need to go forwards, we can go forwards. If we need to defend, we can defend. If we need to keep our mid alive, etc., etc. And it's just what makes the greatest teams, really. And it comes up to these very close fights because you've got two teams doing just that.
Definitely. I mean, what do you think? We're seeing how close it is. The rounds could have gone either way. This could have been a 3-2 for Feila instead, or it could have been a 3-0 for other teams. Like, all of the rounds were that close. What do you think each team needs to look at to kind of amend themselves to go into this? Like, because this next half, this second half, basically all Wheelchair need to do is win one more round to take it up to that kind of limit of 4. Whereas Feila have to win 2. What do they need to do? What do each team need to do to kind of solidify their status and be like, okay, we're winning these next rounds. Like, we're not going to play it fast and loose anymore. We're going to win it. What do they need to change?
I think, in my opinion, like just from watching how on the side of Feila anyway, to start off with, I think Feila could probably do with like spreading out slightly. I've noticed a lot of the time, like their combo, and everyone would just clump around a dispenser in the mid, and because of that, Murphy just gets all the damage in one place. The dream as demo is to have like 5 people hit by your sticks, like 4 sticks before everyone spreads out, because at that point you've basically already done like 300 to 400 damage, and it's too late by then because the mids have to heal it all up. So if they do that like properly and their flank can sort of play around that, I think that'll work out best. And side of Wheelchair, I think it's probably just going to be about like the aggression and just sort of not being afraid to go off the picks. Like sort of follow like what Justice is doing on Scout. Like, because when he's in and he's sort of putting down some damage onto some key classes, I think if they follow up on that, like if say like so Valesky go forward and Strono go forward and Rambo go forwards all at the same time, I think they can sort of have a lot more territory taken and peak the point. They've been peaking the point quite effectively, to be honest, but just doing it more often, I suppose.
No, definitely. I mean, I think, when you look at the stats and the damage and the kills, clearly Piney is being very effective for Wheelchair, and that raises the question, why was Proki being so effective at the start of the game and then wasn't? It's because he was being focused. It's because the spy was just on him non-stop. It's because the rest of the team weren't giving him the space to be able to take the shots that he needed. I mean, both spies have been on the snipers a lot, but I just feel that Piney hasn't as much pressure maybe from the rest of the team. It's not just a spy's job to pick off the sniper. It's not just a sniper's job to counter snipe. Everyone needs to be pressuring those areas and not giving the time and space to enemy sniper for him to peek. And if they do that to Piney, he's going to abuse that. He's going to get those frags, and it's very, very difficult. I mean, we've all seen huge players over the years playing on these maps. Starting off more recently with the likes of Boar and Cloudy, and then going really far back to the likes of Flippy and Tavik, who would just stand there and would just shoot everyone, and you can't let them do that, especially on a map like this. And I feel that pressure just isn't there from the rest of the team. How many times have we seen Joe get picked off because he's the furthest one forward, and he's getting spammed and then he's just getting headshot? If there's other players up forward with you, like you said, scouts and soldiers pressuring up forward, then they're all going to be taking damage, but that does mean that your demo is not going to be the first one to die. So I think just a little bit more cohesion, a little bit more unity with walking forward, and not just have Joe be the spearhead of the attack and everyone else sort of trailing behind. I think Feila would do a lot better. When it comes to Wheelchair, I just think they need to keep protecting their medic the way they've done. They know Joe and Middle are going to come in for those bombs. Keep pressuring the sniper that they've been doing, then they could easily win this round as well. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes to another 3 rounds. Actually, no, we've got 2 rounds max possible, right? Because we're 3-2 right now. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes to the maximum next 2 rounds. But it could go. Are you going to call it, Buck? You're going to call who you think's going to win?
At this rate, I honestly don't even know, because I mean, Feila have kind of come back to get some rounds, but Wheelchair kind of solidified it in that last round. But going to be coming on to this next mid as sort of projectiles being traded, milk being traded. Not really much going forward right now as Beatbox. Well, we're not trying to go in for a bit of a bomb. Does manage to pick off Strono. There's a lot of pressure on the point right now, but they need to be careful they don't take too much damage. Even with the Fist of Steel, it does go down. And Nubi with a big bomb in the backline does manage to pick off the mid. There's so many dead right now on the side of Feila.
I was just about to say how brilliantly Feila played that mid fight. Like, middle bombed across the point. He got absolutely destroyed. Like, he just got melted. But he was right in Austin's face. Austin couldn't, change heal targets. He couldn't focus or anything like that. And it meant that two players had to deal with middle bombing across the point. And everyone from Feila walked across the point, got themselves to the ground, got themselves on the point. And then suddenly, when they realized, things weren't going perfectly, they all ran away and they just got cleaned up on the retreat. So really confusing kind of backing up there. But Thomas there gets a nice frag onto Pine. He's no sniper for a while. Does mean that it's going to give Feila a little bit more breathing room to walk forward here. Remember, they have to win this round, otherwise they are going to lose the tie. Austin has 100% in the bank though. Layla only at 80%, trying to edge the point here, but the Uber is used. Austin pops it onto Strono. They're going to get some chasing down, and they do take down Layla. They nearly wipe the team. 6 down out of a possible 9. That's a pretty good result for Immunity Exchange, especially, Buck, when you pick off the medic.
Yeah, I think they need to be careful, like, where they're positioning Layla here, because, like, when they're on Uber Dissad, like, at this level, like, you can't afford to have people, like, you know how far forward you're going to go just to get these frags, so it's just to be expected, really. But as I say, that Mezzo, again, with the prick onto Proki, so, yeah, no sniper to try to learn. This is why he's free to rain on the rock.
Yeah, they're kind of walking forward here, no heavy. Aleski getting, picked off. And big backstab from Melee. Doesn't get the medic, but takes down Murphy. That is a lot of spam denial out here. Lots of damage going down on the point. And wow, middle there with an air shot. Just as Nubby tried to jump into him, just kind of shoots his face. But yeah, I mean, that's probably the best exchange you could have got there. They are 1.5 minutes behind here. But they do have an Uber advantage. Later, just getting to that 100%. Austin only about 80. So it's going to be a bit of time before they go in. And Proki snipes down Murphy. No demo for Wheelchair. And they're going to have to try and push this without their big damage dealer.
Yeah, it's coming to even Ubers now though, so they've allowed Austin the time to actually get this Uber, as Leski's trying to peek this for free. Middle trying to put down as much spam as he can, Vpog's trying to keep just as away from the point as much as possible. Then they're kind of just waiting on Piney right now. He's on Classic, here he is. Wow, that was a massive reflect coming out from Strono to deny that stab. But Uber is going to get, come out on the side of Feila. Joe trying to receive the brunt of that, but they're getting a lot of space at the point right now, as, middle and right, be still on his key side.
I keep hearing this sound, and I think it's a drop, but it's that stupid particle from the short circuit. Like, when it fizzles out, it sounds like an Uber drop. When I get it, I'm like, ooh, where's the med? No. Like, it's just that little fizzly thing. Yeah, baited. Feila here, kind of, I feel Elephant are allowing Feila to do the strat that they want to do. The dry push strat where they're just walking in and recapping, and Elephant aren't playing the same way they were in the first couple of rounds where they were denying that. We see Piney's actually on the Classic now, drops down onto main, tries to go for a shot, but doesn't manage to get anything, and Layla has her Uber in a couple of seconds, so Mezzo going down there, it's going to take a big play out of someone to get something done. I mean, you need to dislodge that Uber, take that out of the equation, otherwise you're not going to be able to capture that point very easily at all. Nubby goes down, trying to go for a bomb, but Thomas is going to finish him off. So this is looking better and better for Feila. They are behind in the time still, but surely they're going to take the lead before any Ubers come out behind the team.
So what Feila's doing right now is they're trying to bait them onto the point as Joe's got some traps set up. Leski does manage to spot them, but they need to be careful they don't get them too much space here actually. They are trying to walk forward right now. Newbie goes in for a bit of a bomb and there's a bit of a semi-force right there as Thomas and Joe taking it again. The brother Super Murphy manages to go down. So 3 dead right now, including the sniper and the demo.
It's the Joe play! He's doing it! He's
oh, why?
Spawn. Oh my days, Austin, I said, there's that safe zone where you think, I'm okay, I'm not going to get bombed here, and then there's the Joe zone. He was in the Joe zone, and Joe was like, I'm going for it, almost gets him, but Austin escapes after taking a pipe to the face. He does survive, he does have 100% Uber now for his team, and they have captured the point here without even having to use, so that's going to be a really good exchange for them. When it comes down, but no, a body shot from Proki takes down Strono. That's a lot of denial, and Joe's trying to get the force. He does get the force off of Austin. He uses it, trying to save his play. Nice flash there. Wow, onto Snuggles, just to keep the players alive. And they are going to hold on to the point here. They are behind in the time now by about 10 seconds. Layla has 90% Uber though, Buck, and Feila, if they win this fight, they win this push, that could be the round.
Yeah, Layla, I think, sort of learning a bit there, like, to be a bit more back, does manage to get the Uber advantage right now, so should be key in trying to take this point as Joe leads the charge. with the Scout and the Pyro as well. Gets flown up in the air, but manages to sort of connect back with the players as they're trying to get as many frags as possible here. Austin does actually go down as well, so no med right now for Wheelchairs to try and get this, this key round for them.
Yeah, I don't think he was in the Joe zone quite there. He was just a bit too far forward that time around. I mean, there was a cheeky little serve from Layla there. I'm not sure if you caught that on cam, but she kind of got launched forward and just edged around the buildings to keep alive. But she does have an uber advantage. Actually, no. You know what? She doesn't have an uber advantage because Nubby's on a 5k. Takes down both Joe and Layla. That is Highlander's power couple out of the equation. It's only 60 seconds left for Wheelchair to hold on to this, actually. And they do have a lot of their players alive. It's going to be difficult for them to actually let go of this. As finally gets a kill there using the classic. Mason's going to get some cap time now. He has to. Otherwise, his team is going to be knocked out, or at least losing this game, I should say. They're walking on to the point now. They're getting a lot of cap time. Thomas is getting healed up. Uber is not in play. Nubby comes in with the bomb, takes down a few players. The cleanup's coming in though. Thomas Mello all coming in. Ripe is on the point and he should be able to capture it. 3 alive. The Wheelchair. What on earth is happening here? Strino is actually going to take down a Pyro, but they win it back.
You know what happened there? The one thing that you don't want to ever let happen, no one focused the heavy. Ripe was just sitting on the rock, just like that entire time while Aleski actually dropped down to try and defend the point. He was just sitting there, timed it perfectly, spamming everyone that was on the point, and then comes in last second with like 300 and then like does so much damage.
Wow, yeah, I mean that's the thing, people forget about the heavy on a map like this, because for most of the game you're useless, but when everyone forgets, thinks, oh, the heavy's useless, like you said, don't focus him at the right time and it's not going to end well for you, but the entire flank went down for Feila, but then Austin and Murphy both get backstabbed by Mello, so I mean, training a combo for a flank is probably pretty good. Feila looking good for this. Nubby is getting in from behind. Snuggles is also trying to get some pressure down onto Layla. Big bomb in. Wow, Nubby just kills himself, literally just blows himself up on top of Brokey there. Did not care for his well-being whatsoever. But Feila do win that mid-fight. They lose Joe there, but they have 100% in the back bunk, and I think they're going to be very, very pleased.
Yeah, trying to walk forwards now, but obviously needs to be careful of this Uber. Pipe's coming in from Murphy, not actually finding Layla this time, and she does manage to pop a Uber. I'm not sure actually what the purpose of this pop is, if they're trying to get the mid or not, because like they weren't really pressuring. I'm not sure whether that was a mismatch. Yeah, trying to walk the way in from main now. There's a lot of pressure onto right face. He's trying to defend as much as he can. Minis sort of spamming as much as they can as well. As the flank heavy comes in from Aleski, actually to try and force their attention away. As Vclox doesn't care because he's going to walk on the point anyway. But a lot of people are going down for Feila right now.
I love how Vclox still does that little twitch thing. You know, he's still there in jungle defender, he still does it. A couple of backstabs coming in. Both Joe and Fanny are taken out of the game. Feila actually still controlling the point. They still actually have cap time. Middle is... I lost him. He was in the skybox. He's still alive. He's jumped back. He's able to do that apparently. Vclox is just kind of Wing it again. He gets right. Austin! Oh, he forces the Uber and he's just pushing him. Vclox, stop bullying him. Leave him alone. Oh my word. Austin, Uber was just totally useless there. Absolutely useless.
That was an insane play from Vclox to be fair. Just absolutely destroying him.
There's nothing worse as a medic where you have to pop and there's no one to help you against the Pyro. The fact that Vclox got out there is criminal. I mean, there was no one to help Austin whatsoever. He was just left so alone. And Layla once again has a huge Uber advantage. Feila is still in control of the point. Murphy with the bomb. Can he land the pipes? He lands one. And wow, so close.
Yeah, just managed to get the force though. Strano going in for a bit of a jump, I think. Managed to get that Joe going in behind into the Joe zone, as you say, not caring. Goes after Austin. Austin managed to stay out of the way as he does get picked off by a very close slip from Pliny.
Yeah, it does mean an Uber advantage now though for Wheelchair. Nubby's jumping in from behind on the cliff. He likes to do this, just kind of stay alive and just then slowly come in from behind. Tries to go for Proki again, but doesn't manage to do it. But Mello! Oh, that could be the round-winning kill there. Uber advantage for Austin, but he gets backstabbed by the Spy. Rambasaur is trying his best. Can his biceps? He's scaring them away. No, he does get the cap by himself. But it's not going to be enough as so many players died for his team that Mason is just going to say, you know what? I'm going to walk on the point and do exactly the same and just recapture it. And Feila looking extremely good for this round back.
Yeah, Mezzo does a bit of a saving grace though, gets to pick on to Layla during all of that. But yeah, not much of an advantage to go off right here. So Mello trying to go off the Jarate players. They need to be careful though, because like they need to try and get forward on this point. They haven't really capped it at all. Nubiga doing his typical bombing from behind, see if this can initiate a push right here. As Murphy's trying to spam across as much as he can. Newbie goes onto the sniper, does manage to pick up the sniper, but Murphy getting domed. Well, getting stabbed actually by Mello.
Yeah, 10 seconds left. I mean, at this point, you know that Wheelchair have to stand on the point. They have to walk forward. They have to get cap time, and that's going to allow some players from Feila just get free damage down this point. Snuggle, Strono, Rambasaur, all dying. But Meza comes in, takes down Layla. That is huge. Austin has to stay alive here. His team need to protect him. Meza gets another nice kill onto Joe. So 2 big classes taken out of the equation. Joe's still in the respawn queue, actually, as that was a slightly later death. Mello not able to get anything done there. Trying to 1v1 a heavy isn't going to work out well for him. But Austin with 100%, he's behind the point, he's well protected. They have a lot of time to chalk off here, Buck, but they did this earlier on. They did this in the first round, they did this in the second round. They can hold it, and we'll have to see if they do.
Yeah, big shout out to Mesmer actually in the last 90 seconds. We're doing quite a lot of plays on the side of Wheelchair. Joe walking forward here, kind of alone right now though. Needs to be careful as the rest of his team comes in. The Uber comes in as well. V-Clock's getting picked off by the sticks from Murphy. Rybo trying to run for his life. Layla getting chased by Strono, but will get body blocked by middle. And probably, as he just managed to get away with his life, surprisingly.
Yeah, Mello got the backstab onto Austin there during all of that chaos. The only person to die was the medic, and you know what? In that situation, playing aggressive and trying to catch out the medic, maybe not the best decision to make. You know, you want to play it slightly safe, wait for them to try and get their charge and get something done, and losing your medic is the worst thing to happen. Really early pop here from Feila. They're trying to just get in the ground, trying to take damage and deal with the players in front of them. Murphy standing really far forward. Rambasaur just walks in. Big jump from Nubby. He takes down 2. So much damage. Murphy with a 4 kill streak takes down Layla, takes down Joe, and they actually win that. They lose their medic, but you know what? They hold on to the point, and Feila actually with their backs to the wall now.
Yeah, Mezzo, Newbie and Rambo, both kind of like the unfocused players on that point there, just sort of like coming in around the back, just trying to do as much damage as they could to the combo, and it ended up working out for them as they were trying to like chase Alessi into the cliff, I think. But yeah, a bit of an even Uber situation right here, coming up to the last few seconds for, well, the last second peach for Feila. Let's try and go in here, middle going with his typical bait bomb. Austin takes a pipe, I think, as trying to walk across, is trying to peek it slowly. Murphy doing as much damage as he possibly can, but they need to not let them count this.
Vcox just walking onto the point. Vcox is just doing everything. Someone has to stop. No, Vcox! Vcox wins them that round. Vcox walks forward and he's just standing on the point, and Murphy's trying his best to put some damage out, but Vcox just reflecting that away, just denying all sort of spam coming down on the point. The rest of his team stand behind him, so they're getting more cap time, and nobody's able to just deny the Pirate. The Pirate wins them that round. I mean, they just had to cap as it was overtime. There was longer for Wheelchair to hold on to it, but it looked like they could have done it there with a couple of good exchanges. But in the end, after being 2-0 down and after being 3-2 down at halftime, Feila show their nerve and come back and take this 4-3. And Buck, at the beginning of this game, you called it as maybe the best 2 teams currently in Platinum, playing in week 2. And it's been one hell of a game, and I expect they'll be playing each other again later in the season.
Yeah, I'm going to look forward to seeing these teams in the future, like especially on different maps like Payload and stuff. But I mean, compared to this map anyway, or that game that just happened, I think, like, I mean, what do you think happened with Wheelchair? Was it just like a confidence issue, or do you think like Feila got like more confident and just started playing off the picks that they had and like playing more together? Because like from the first round, I think Wheelchair were a bit like, you know, a bit more motivated, and then in that second round, I think they kind of just lacked a bit of cohesion, or maybe the comms were getting a bit overworked or something. I'm not sure. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, it can happen. I mean, I've been in these situations where you have a high pressure game, and it's just, you know, one round in it, and it's so tantalizingly close for you that you start to maybe rush things, start to lose a little bit of focus. Like you said on that previous round where the heavy won them the game, basically. Raper just standing on the point, no focus on him. And that's probably because the calls are so chaotic. Everyone's saying, oh, shoot this, shoot this, shoot this. And then they forget about the heavy. And on that second round, they were just losing players. They were getting, you know, Austin was getting backstabbed here and there. Maybe wasn't that much protection on him. There was that great denial from V-Clocks where he just pushed Austin. There was no protection on him. As a medic, you know, you have to be in the right position, but you also need to have players with you. And if no one's protecting you and you get forced, if you get forced, it's not the end of the world. At least you can pick up a frag or 2 or 3. You know, even if you're not going to get the enemy medic. But if you're left alone like that, and there's no one to help you against a Pyro who, you know, 25 HP, he manages to get away. Like I said, it was criminal. And I think a couple of the decisions there late on were a bit rushed, like getting aggressive with the Uber. And, they collapsed well on point for that second exchange. But right at the end there, I think maybe it was just nerves. Who knows? It was just kind of a bit of a DM battle. Maybe Joe was just more confident with his team. I mean, there's no one who really kind of stands out hugely on the logs except for maybe Thomas, who gets 25 kills in 13 minutes. So, that's pretty much, 2 kills a minute. Those are pretty tasty stats coming out. I mean, it is scout, it is product, but considering how well the snipers were doing earlier in the game, I think Thomas has been pretty solid all the way through. I mean, is there anyone who kind of stands out in that second round for Feila for you?
Well, I was going to say, for Wheelchair anyway, interested to see Rambo so far up the frags, actually. 16 frags on NG. I guess his mini sentry must have been a bit of a pain for the flank. But yeah, on the side of Feila, yeah, I'd say Rofe actually doing quite well, just consistently throughout those rounds, sort of just doing what he needs to do. Newbie was being, quite a nuisance, but, he wasn't directly bombing into them, so he didn't manage to catch them out, so he kind of just shifted his attention to, the combo and, killing Strono and that sort of thing, which he did reasonably well. And yeah, as you say, Thomas, 25 frags, obviously trying to get in behind as much as possible, getting the frags where he needs to, and Mello, I think, as well, doing quite well, because he gets some key, both spies, actually. I think Mezzo and Mello doing pretty well, because getting key frags when they needed to. Interestingly enough, both took 3,210 damage each. Coincidence? I think not.
Oh, wow, yeah, that's... wow, yeah. That's really interesting. It's very rare that you see blue players take exactly the same damage. Something really interesting here is that, in fact, Wheelchair got more frags and did about 2k more damage than Feila did. So normally if you're losing 2-0, you'd expect to have more kills by some margin, but no, in fact it was Wheelchair who got more kills, and maybe it's just, they weren't focusing at the right time. And like at the end there, Vclox was allowed to just walk on the point, get so much cap time. If there's a pyro denying your spam, you need to get a hit scan class on there to deal with him, a scout, heavy. Somebody has to deal with that pyro, otherwise he's just going to get cap time for free. So maybe it was just a couple of decisions there, but it's still early in the season. Like we said at the start of the show, these two rosters are rebuilding from season 15 of ETF2. Very familiar faces coming in from both of these sides, but there are some new ones as well, and maybe they're just settling in. And like I said, I expect to see them both in the playoffs later on in the season. They'll probably come head-to-head again, but that's it for now. I mean, if you have anything else to add at the end of that, Buck?
No, I think, I mean, just well played by both teams, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing how these teams progress, and if they change up any of the roster sort of later on into the season, or if they change their strats, or how they perform on payload, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, payload is definitely a different kettle of fish. We'll have to see how they cope there, but we thought it was going to be a classic, and it definitely was. Feila eSports coming back from 3-2 down to win 4-3 on product against Wheelchair, both undefeated after the first week, but now Wheelchair taking that first loss onto their record. Feila will be sitting atop of the table until at least week 3, which will be back next week for week 3 of UGC Platinum Highlander. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to Buck for joining me, and for Foppish for some amazing camera work in the background and all of the production. We'll see you guys next time.
Hi, old beaver! Away!